review. We have Miley Cyrus, Plastic Hearts. It is 15 songs, 50 minutes long. Her first release in a couple of years. We did talk. Did we review?
I don't know if we did. I probably just like we looked at it and we were just like, no.
I don't remember. This was the first year of Audioface, so we've reviewed a lot of music. So sometimes I remember, sometimes I don't. But I definitely did listen to.
And if he doesn't remember, I'm incredibly unlikely to remember. So there's that. But that being said, Miley Cyrus has had a very long
and tremendous career. Yes, starting from her Disney Channel days and being a kid at a child star thing.
It basically only goes two ways at Disney Channel. Either it only goes like the Zack and Cody way, or it goes the Miley Cyrus way.
Yeah, exactly. Because you have like Selena Gomez, who she's fine, and then you got Miley Cyrus, who's had like up and down and stuff, but she's open and honest about it, and we'll get into that right now.
Yeah. And it's taken her a while to be like open and honest about that, and we've definitely like seen a journey about that. But it's a mature journey, and it's still going there. Musically, I still pretty much hate it.
Musically, it's all right. It's not. It's not. I don't.
Miley Cyrus is a pop artist with like a country sort of twang, and this is like pop country, and it's like something I'm definitely likely to roll my eyes at, and I'm definitely doing that now.
Yeah, more or less. It's so the thing it's pretty. You can hear immediately as her voice is so much lower now than it was before because of all the drugs and other shit that she's done in her life that have basically fucked it up and she says that too, and she admits it and all of that, whatever. So you can definitely hear that. It's still good enough to actually be able to sing and stuff, which is good because you don't want anyone to get anything that just completely destroys your voice or you can't use it anymore.
Yeah,
really.
and I would never say that like Miley Cyrus had a particularly like incredible voice.
No, it was
just
solid.
Like consistent. Yeah, it was just like solid and fine. What the fuck WTF do I know? Whatever, this is an explicit podcast and a song. One of the only like two on the album. But like WTF do I know? The first song does the like clap thing again, not quite the snap, but the clap.
Not clap, not quite,
snap,
but it's still that the 2020s thing of trap snare of like just the normal thing that a lot of pop music is doing and some alternative bands are doing and whatnot. And
it's like Foster the People snap clap is like third gear, this is like clutch on second.
Yeah, it's clutch on second going up. I mean, no, Foster the People clap snap drum snap is like you break your gear lever in eighth and then you gotta drive one. You gotta be Ayrton Senna Interlagos 93 when your gearbox breaks and you have to drive a Formula 1 car in 6th gear for the rest of the race.
Much easier. It's breaking your gear in 8 in a 3-cylinder Miata.
That's definitely only up to like 5 maybe.
Yeah, literally like your gear levers in like the passenger seat crotch. It's just like completely off the wall. Anyways, so Plastic Heart's the title track afterwards. Again, it's just like kind of just
your standard pop. The thing with her album is it does go into a little bit deeper stuff of her like personal things and whatnot, and then she talks a lot about herself and other things and saying like how there was one song where it was saying it might have been Plastic Hearts where it's like I did end up what everyone says I was going to be, which is kind of a powerful statement of saying like, because especially when you're a child star you have so much pressure to conform or to be this big person, to be this big star and whatnot, and a lot of other naysayers would be like, oh, you're going to drown out and die out into like the 27 Club or to be like a washed up star, because that does happen quite often. And she said, maybe I did end up like that washed up star that everybody says I was going to end up being because of all her antics and other stuff that she's done throughout her career. It was kind of sad to hear that, honestly, because it's like, shit, man, like the music industry is horrible to people, man, and like the entertainment industry just like, man, it eats people alive. That sucks.
Yeah. The entertainment industry eats people alive. Capitalism eats people alive because it's like a story that I promise you, I'm not going to like stand on the soapbox for long. But it's important to say that like we've done this podcast for 4 years and it's always like the entertainment industry, the entertainment industry, the entertainment industry. But it's important to also connect like a lot of industries also like eat people up like this. And it's like people always come out of different industries with these stories and like they have to go on this journey of fixing their lives because of it.
Yeah.
And so that's like a very like professional middle class way of looking at it even then. But even that's a way of looking at it of like this is a fundamental like structural issue.
Yeah.
Hashtag no politics. I do really like the songwriting in Angel Like You. And the
I was about
singing.
to say, I think Angel Like You is actually a very good song. I really like it because it has her emotion in it. It's, yeah, solid. It's a really good song, actually, I think, from her because it's a nice break from your normal pop or whatnot. It's a really good acoustic song with it. And it's like intertwining her old style songwriting to like her new style and everything and being like accepted of who you are now.
Yeah.
So it's a decent song.
Yeah. Prisoner with Dua Lipa adds like some of Dua Lipa's like more like disco-ish, future
Yeah.
nostalgia kind of sound to this. If you're already doing pop, why not go with another pop artist sound? It's just like the natural thing you do. It's a nice little like remix of the sound from this album, and it's like a nice little feature. And I generally like most of the features on here.
I actually,
Fairly sparse.
I like a lot of the features in it, and it's interesting with that. Dua Lipa, I think, is a solid feature on it. She is one of my more likable pop artists because it is a good, crisp sound. It is still generic and boring, but it's not horrid. So I think I think Prisoner is a good song. Give Me What I Want After is like interesting because it almost sounds like Nine Inch Nails style of like going really dark, like synth pop into it, and it's I kind of like it in that regard where you go into that more darker bass, but it still does like your more normal pop tunes and stuff in it. But it's a decent song.
As a bass player, I'd hate when pop songs just like rely on like the thick bass to do like one sort of very simple line and then continue to popify the rest of it. But yeah, Miley Cyrus does that there. And Give Me What I Want is like a nice sort of example of it, but yeah, whatever.
Not Crawling with Billy Idol it's fine.
Yeah, I definitely like, I've never, much the same way you don't like the guy on Gorillaz who was on that song with Clack.
With Six Flag? Oh, Elton John?
Yes.
You don't like Billy Idol?
No, I don't like this. I've never liked his voice. Like,
it's fair.
Yeah.
He's not for everybody. I like Billy Idol. I don't have an issue with him, but I do not like him in this song. It just kind of throws it off a little bit. I think it's like just I'm not quite sure how to word it, but I don't know if it's because they're too low voices, so they don't the way it is. I would rather have like him use his higher range in his vocals to actually have offset hers, and I think it would have been a lot better in that regard. I just don't like the way it was written for him.
Yeah, I don't like the way their voices kind of collide near like the end of the song.
Yeah,
either.
exactly.
It's like I think they're two good voices. They could have worked together, but like the pairing just wasn't right. And that kind of just like makes up a lot of the album where like it's fine, okay, but like it feels like some of it's underutilized. But again, like I was definitely listening to it a lot more of like, oh, this is very poppy, and so like the lyrics when I do that almost just sort of like fade in the background. But there is a lot of very like deep things about like recovery and looking inward in that I think, like we said earlier, a lot of people can relate to, which we do criticize pop a hell of a lot for just being like very kind of unrelatable mishmash or whatever and not being deep at all. And this is definitely different from that, so I'll give that credit.
It is that's something that does bother me. This album is because the lyricism is actually very, very good in this album. I enjoy it a lot. It's just drowned out by your normal pop because you have 3 songs right after Nightcrawling, Been Sky High and Hate Me that all have their own fantastic lyrics, but they're washed out because those 3 are just as a generic pop as you can get. So that's something that's an issue with the genre, I think, in itself, and that a lot of things that needs to be settled off. Because that's one thing I do like with Billie Eilish is her lyrics are really in there and you can understand them quite clearly and they're never washed out by production.
Yeah, I think there's also just like, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think there's just like a lot of producers who have been like producing shit like an old way for a long time.
Yeah, exactly.
Just, like, that just need to retire.
Exactly. And probably those guys are on the Grammy boards and they need to retire. And then you get to Bad Karma with Joan Jett, which fucks with Joan Jett heavy. And that's a really good breakup song, but like a song to break up all of the general pop in the middle. I think it's the strongest song on this album, followed along with Angels Like You. I think with Joan Jett and Miley Cyrus, they complement each other very well, and it's a really good song because it's simple. It just has a drum beat in the background that's going on, and it sounds like there's going to be a drop that happens, and then it stops, and then it goes back to the drum beats, and then with their voices going back and forth, and it's cool in that regard. That's some of that little messing around, experimenting a little bit, and just going along with two very good female vocalists in there. So it was a cool song.
That was really nice. Down by like the end, I think it was the last song, Golden G String. It's just like a very flat pop song.
Yeah.
Not at all
It's
like
just, like,
really interested. It's like almost like trap snare, but none of the hi-hats.
Yeah.
So like it's a interesting vibe. It's a little slower, but yeah, like this is like I don't know what to put this. I say like the Gunna of pop music. It's just very just like middling.
It's just middle. There is some good stuff in here, and there's a lot in here that's just kind of blah. I do like for like the extended stuff. You have Edge of Midnight remix with Stevie Nicks, and I thought that was actually really cool because I love Stevie Nicks. That is someone who has been through a hell of a lot of recovery and stuff too. We'll more on that later. So someone who can definitely relate to Miley and be like, "Girl, if you have any idea how much coke I did in the '80s, you don't even know." And Stevie Nicks goes hard.
Well, yeah, that's pretty good. So like ultimately we can say for Miley Cyrus, it's a pretty like complete musical project, and for a pop record, it's surprisingly deep. It just really
It just gets drowned out from the production. I think these old head producers are just really, really stuck. Like you have stuff with Ariana Grande, where like, and a bunch of other pop artists that we have talked about there on the podcast, that it's so bland that someone needs to step up and do different stuff or hire new producers. Yeah. And you get that in trap a lot too. You get that, and that's why I like Metro Boomin so much, because he can do like almost any genre he wants and basically nails it out of the park.
Yeah, and makes it sound modern and fresh, because like he is like
it's
not only
incredible.
Perfected like the modern sound, but like is now trailblazing.
Exactly.
In like 4 years.
Yeah.
Like in the time we've done this podcast.
Metro!
Around. Yeah, so it's kind of amazing. Arbitrary Scale this week is award shows. There's a different type of award shows that exist. Usually there's no like real set upper or lower bound limit for things, but the Grammys is definitely the worst.
The Grammys is definitely the worst. This is the daytime Emmys. Solid daytime Emmys. Yeah. You might get some like drunkenly artists to come up there and like ramble on and make it hilarious, or it might just be completely boring and never watch it in your life. There you go.
This is the ESPYs.
I forgot that was a thing. I totally forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, this is the ESPN Awards. You know, just like kind of standard, exists every single year. It's like, we're just gonna watch the same like 3 memes every single year. All right, well that's life. But yeah, it's a go if you like Miley Cyrus, you'll definitely really enjoy the depths she's going through with this album.
Yeah, for sure.
But as a pop thing, it's meh. Yeah, literally meh.